Yo, what's good, guys? It's your boy MC Fire coming at you with another trade video. And this one I'm actually happy to bring to you guys because today I will happy to say that we made around 300% return on investment. I think it was roughly like 370, 350% return on investment due to the fact that one of our asymmetric trades actually worked out really, really good. Let's dive right in. So before we kind of get into that though, let's get the gauge of the market. So going into this week, Monday started off really strong. The market's kind of bouncing, and that is represented pretty much in most sectors. There's not really a sell off in any sector. All sectors are kind of off to the races, kind of being led off by the financial sector. But actually, the financial sector, what is it, light pink? I think that's materials. Let's see. Yeah, materials actually started to turn down. So if the market is kicking up and materials is showing weakness as as the market kicks up, that might be something to look out for is materials. So just kind of watch out for that. We might actually do a quick peek at some of the materials and see what we can see on that. Before we get into the charts, actually, let's also go to financial news. Now, most things, unless you're being very selective and going into individual stocks or in your individual markets, this is probably your one-stop shop for general news. Forexfactory.com, really good place to go. To you can isolate down to some of the reds. I like to look at everything, kind of know the pulse of the market, see what's going on in the world. But tomorrow, Tuesday, is going to be a very a very very or excuse me, today was actually very good, right? Today is Tuesday, kind of the end of Tuesday going into Wednesday. We had the Europeans speaking euro flash manufacturing PMI, and then on our end flash manufacturing PMI. We were able to capitalize on that PMI move, increase volatility. Whenever we have PMI or the Fed chair Powell speaks, CPI, those numbers, they're very important because it's basically how easy or hard will it be for people to borrow money. Cash is king in this environment, and cash is the lifeblood for most businesses. So in rocky times, getting cash on a loan and paying people back later is kind of the thing. So almost smooth sailing. You do have Thursday unemployment claims, and then you do also have Friday, right? Consumer sentiment. So consumer sentiment is like, hey, where are people looking to spend their money? But really doesn't have as much bearing as it would for CPI. CPI for us and manufacturing for us is, hey, what's the job market looking like, and how are we? What's the overall industry like? What's the strength of the market looking like? Those things are important, but really it doesn't even matter. What really matters is there's going to be increased volatility in the market on that day. So if you're a person that can't handle volatility or you trade emotionally, it's not a good day for you to trade. Okay. Um, we're looking at the futures contract, the XPS for SPY, and what we're noticing out the gate is, yes, this is on a weekly chart. There was effectively 3 weeks of selling. So 3 whole weeks, the market pulled kind of in a very aggressive sell off. But a Monday, Tuesday, it's starting to look strong. We were able to capitalize on this, and I'll show you guys that here in a second. Let me go ahead and mute all of that action. But yeah, so long story short, we'll dive right into the actual price action here. So previously strong uptrend, we did get a kind of a, hey, heads up on the daily. Now remember, I like to take the weekly, so the weekly is saying it's a good time for a pullback. Look for a buy trigger. You haven't really changed the long-term trend really yet. Okay, you're still above your 21. You're still above your threatening to go back in the top portion of your 1 ATR. So that's very powerful. But on the daily chart, it looks way worse than it is. Now, that's not to say that things can get dicey really quick, right? But if you're seeing this, and if there's some follow through, we'll actually go through to the ES. There is actually a little follow through here after hours. So you see the market broke through this range, and you know my policy, right? I don't necessarily see things go rotational all the time. I see them pause at fair value, test, and pause at fair value. So where it has these pauses in the middle where it likes to hang out, and then it comes, tests a level, backs off of it, tests it again, breaks through, and then where does it settle? Fair value. So now that it tests and it said, hey, market order started building in the top portion, I felt really confident pre-market to go ahead and put my position to the upside, and it worked out extremely well on the XSP. We'll take a peek at that. So this is kind of how we set up our position. This is a 10-minute chart, 2-minute chart. This is kind of how we set up our butterfly. Let me see if I can expand that out for you guys. You can see it all the way. Boom, there. Cannons and confetti. So this kind of was our center strike. I believe it was actually a little higher than that, the 109. So we'll raise that up. So bear with us. So 109, it's kind of up here. Cool. And the lower strike was like 107. Or 105, excuse me. So 105 was the lower strike, 109. Effectively a 4 wide strike. We did take a wider strike range because the ES went above 17. So anything below 17, or not the ES, the VIX. The VIX actually, we'll go to the VIX. The VIX had peekabooed above 17, and we thought the VIX was going to stay kind of elevated, stay elevated for PMI. It did not actually do that, but it actually worked out in our favor. They kind of see this as a fear metric, so if things are going up, the fear metric kind of comes down a little bit. So volatility won't be as volatile, but so far it's in our favor, so you know we can't really complain too much about that. But yeah, we had no problem putting it up here, looking at pre-market price action. It kind of got into our profit zone really nice, and it was a pretty decent 300%, a lot more than 300%, like 370%. But the reality is we're really happy with this result, because asymmetric trading, this kind of proves to me that even if you're going through a bad stint, it doesn't really affect you emotionally, because you know it is death by 1,000 cuts because it's so small. But one good trade with your discipline and not taking oversized risk or sticking to the process pays off, and it paid off, basically bringing us to net positive on all of our XSP trades since we've been running the program. And to see that positive year to date was like really cool. Just one trade can basically what it did was net positive all of the negatives that we had previously made. It was like 4 or 5. Like we were back to back to back to back. There was 1 week that we did a miss, but outside of that, we did really, really good with this one trade. So really happy about that. So plays for you guys. I do have a few plays, ones that we saw yesterday, and so let's go take a peek at some of those. So we're still tapping into our ETFs, and the reason why they're valuable is because it's almost like betting on a good basketball team as opposed to just one player. I'm still rooting for the XLF. Very, very strong price action here. And as you guys noticed, the XLF, if you watch some of the previous videos, the XLF was the first one in the big sell-off to actually see a rotational level, especially if you were watching the bar charts. It was the first sector to start rotating. So if you're looking for like proof of life or signs of life in the market, bar charts is a really good place. Day by day, it does update and it's free. So why wouldn't you do that, right? I also in that video showed you guys how to find outperformers in that. But here you can see XLF its very first, I would say it's kind of starting to turn the 21 period moving average upwards. That's a good sign. If you were looking for a buy signal for XLF on the daily, you got that 2 days ago, and this is like the final day. You'd be looking to exit a 3-day trade for a nice little swing. But on the weekly, you got your weekly 3-week trigger the other day too. So Monday was the buy signal for this, and if I got a buy trigger, my stop would be here, and I would be looking to take to 3 weeks. Looking at potentially taking some off at highs, either rotational highs, high highs, or at 3 ATR, looking to take some off. With it being in the middle like this and seeing how price action is developing, kind of making market orders at the top of the range at fair value, you might see a test of the low before it continues higher. Or if it just continues to print market orders at this level, just keep pushing. That would be ideal if you're an XLF from our recommendation. If not, but ideally we would have been in the trade at least yesterday, but the day before yesterday was a Shabbat, so no trading. But yeah, today would have been the day that we would have got in and would have seen some nice returns at open. Yesterday would have been ideal, but it was Shabbat, so no trading. And there's that. But the trigger for it was Monday, and then follow through would have been today. Still netting you some profits. So, whoop-de-doo. I want to also take a look at some other potentials, right? Seeing E-Lily. E-Lily is, I'm going to mark this up for you guys so you can see kind of what my thought process and thinking is. So, you got a high here, but then you've also got where can we really mark this up? Right here, right? Boom. So in the immediate, you're looking at this rotational level here. So on the daily, when I see rotation like that, I'm expecting it to at least test middle, right? At least get to the middle and test fair value on this range. Fair value would be right here. So if we peek at the daily, do we have a buy trigger on the daily? Is it above previous days high? Is it above the 8 PM moving average? It is. And then where are you looking to potentially see risk, right? At fair value, kind of in the neutral zone where your 21 period moving average is kind of flattening out, right? A lot of the orders are taking place in here. Sometimes it tests high, tests low, test high here, and then test low. So it is going rotational. So if you're looking for a potential buy, unbalanced volume green, setting up for a trend change from red to green, that could be extremely powerful. Okay. And they're not that expensive. So if you go look at, you're taking it off the daily. So basically you'd in at the end of the week, right? The calls on these are 600, and that's at a 41. So let's say you take the 41 delta and the 20 delta, you're roughly gonna pay 300 on the high side, right? 350, 380, whatever. This is after hours, so these numbers aren't exact, right? But yeah, definitely take a look. We'll watch E-Lily for a little bit, and also something to think about: gold. Let's go take a peek at gold GLD. So typically what happens when the market has a pretty thick rally is the demand for gold isn't necessarily as high, right? So, and especially after it goes parabolic, you're seeing a I wouldn't say a decent pull. I wouldn't say it's like aggressive in the last couple of days, but if it's testing this low and it breaks, you could look for it to test fair value, right? It did go parabolic. So just something to think about. It did test the low and break it. So this retest, if it retests the high and it fails, you could see a potential drop in gold that could be down to fair value. You're looking at like 2009 on GLD, and you go look at gold futures. But right, you could see a test of like potentially in the same range, like down here at 22,585. So just just something to think about, right? Just something to think about for gold and gold futures. If you have gold, if you're a gold bug, I like gold, I like silver, but this nice rally would have been great to exit your position. We're in it for the long haul though, so hold on for the ride there. Also taking a look at real estate and the REITs. Not a lot going on here, but we are looking to add to some of our positions, seeing that there's weakness here. We do believe that the the market overall is kind of inflated. If you're looking to buy and hold, right? Stuff like the Qs is at like relative highs, right? In the top third of its range. All of this been, kind of pushing up. So in the top third of its range there, SPY's kind of doing the same thing, right? Top third of its range. But when you look at stuff like the REITs and the XLE or XLRE real estate, you can find some good deals in a kind of depressed market that really isn't going anywhere. And because of the interest rates, there's going to be a lot of pent up demand. So adding to this now could potentially be a game changer. I'm not telling you what to do. This is by no means financial advice. But if you're looking to catch a bargain, potentially where the fundamental shift in the market might change, if the political winds shift, this could be the best bang for your buck. Some potential picks. You have some REITs, Realty Income with O, GLN, also kind of in the dirt. It's going bottom left, top. It's going top left, bottom right. We would want to see a little bit more buy signals from here, maybe here before you buy, or try to catch the upswing, right? So is looking like O is looking like a whole snack, right? For sure. We also have ERP or EPR, excuse me, and because of that, let's see. Yeah, you got EPR. EPR is kind of looking like a snack because what we really want to do is get these at a bargain. We're looking to add to our position in REITs that are paying a dividend. So looking to add to our dividend portfolio. The last 2 years, we've already made a substantial part of our portfolio the Qs, right? QILG, QQQ. If you've been watching some of our other videos, you know this. STHD is another one. And now to add to like the core of our portfolio, stuff that's going to be around for a while, we want to add REITs. We want to add REITs to that main portfolio to get a nice dividend base. So even if things are up or down, we're still getting, good returns on our money for the foreseeable future, especially, if you're young or if you're just looking to just watch your money grow. REITs is going to be, I think, a good place to park your money here in the near future. Speaking of SCHD, let's check that out. So SCHD is about to give us another buy signal. It kind of peekabooed above the 8. It's above the previous week's high. So SCHD would potentially give you a new buy signal here to go ahead and pick up more shares. So that's a good look for a buy trigger there. It is in a uptrend. Very steep pullback, right? Very, very steep with the rest of the market. But unbalanced volume is still holding on strong. And if he kicks a buy trigger, we might look to add to our position based off of that. So I hope you guys are finding a lot of value here. Let me see if I can pull up the trade. Let's see, because it still should be open, not the trade monitor. Yeah, we'll do the monitor. So just to show you guys the and we'll close this down so you guys don't see all the positions that we have. Probably break that down later. But effectively, you have we closed this at 211, right? 211 total, and net price at $42. So overall, like, absolutely amazing trade, right? Open a trade for $42, exit a trade with $200. It's kind of going to be hard to beat that. Okay, so roughly 350 plus percent. It's really realization for us that People that think that they cannot do this just don't have the skill set. And that's what me and Q we're going to be giving you guys is the gumption, the know-how, and the skill sets to really make this profitable. If you could take $42, right, less than some sneakers, and make $200, if you can see the value and the power in that, risking, $500, $600, $700 per trade, and then, one for one risk to reward, right? You're risking it at $700, you're risking 350, right? That's insane to get 350. So I basically did less than that, but close to that with 42 bucks. And that's why hedge funds make more money, right? They make more money because they look for these differences in the market where if I lose one, but if I gain 4, 5, 6, 10, right? And that's what we're going to learn how to do. So shout out to our mentor, and shout out to Q, shout out to you, and shout out to the channel, man. We're dropping hard nuggets on you guys, and we really appreciate your time and energy. So have a good day. This is your boy MC Fire. Peace.